Hello everyone, my name is Nadal, and welcome to my Halo Solo LASO mission rankings. So I'm ranking all 10 of the original Halo missions on difficulty of LASO Solo as I played through them, and how I got the footage is I just went back through on easy and turned on the infinite ammo skull and just went through the mission as fast as I could, so you could see it in the background as I'm discussing why I gave it the ranking I gave it. Also, it's a nice little revenge going through and just killing everything that killed me over 800 times. Really kind of nice, you know? But when I assessed my rankings, I based it on, like, the mission of how difficult it was, how many times did I get stuck, and just overall how annoying I thought the mission was. Won't lie, the longer missions are more punishing just because they go on forever, and in Lasso Solo, a long mission is not a good thing. But anyway, whether or not you agree or disagree, I implore you to try it yourself and, give your ranking on which ones you think are difficult. But anyway, enough with the intro. Let's get into the rankings. So starting off with number 10, 343 Guilty Spark, the sixth mission in the game. So this is your introduction mission to the Flood, and they are menacing, but your introduction to them, it's not too bad. First off, you start off, you land, you don't encounter any elites, which is a plus. You just encounter grunts and jackals, not too hard to deal with. And then eventually you run into the Flood, and since most of them are combat forms at first, meleeing them keeps your shields up. It's pretty easy to, stay alive. This mission, you could one-shot this mission going into it for the first time. By that point in Lasso, you have the experience. You should know, like, oh, I have to play this way. The only challenging part, honestly, is the fact that this map is such a maze that you can get lost or get sidetracked and get in the wrong spot. And that actually happened to me in the run. I was going the wrong way, and then one of my deaths was actually a grenade jump that I tried to do to get up to a ledge instead of just backtracking. And yeah, so for this mission, it wasn't too bad. The thing about it is they're introducing you to the Flood. It's more of a scary aspect rather than like a challenging aspect. Of course, I learn in the next episode, on next mission, how terrifying the Flood actually are and how annoying they are. But my introduction to them, honestly, I was a little disappointed on how easy they were, but at the same time relieved because it made this mission the easiest one in the game by far. So in the number 9 spot, I put the mission Halo. It's the second mission. It's that one where you get the Warthog and you have to go rescue all the Marines. So this mission was one I got stuck on 4 years ago when I attempted this challenge. And it's because I was approaching Lasso the wrong way. I wasn't using the grunts enough to make explosions. I was too focused on trying to just survive and, like, play Lasso normal. That's not how you're supposed to take this mission at all. And this mission is one of the few ones where I beat from the beginning all the way to the end in one shot. I did this with this mission and the Pillar of Autumn. Those are the only two missions that I didn't use the checkpoint glitch just because I didn't know about it. So the strategy for this mission, this mission would be a lot more difficult, right? If the first firefight thing where you have to hold out and protect the Marines, quote-unquote, protect the Marines, that they're all dead by the time you get to them. It would be more difficult if that rock didn't exist where you could stand on it and just shoot all the enemies. When I found out about that rock, it made that mission so much more consistent. You do that, then you have to go down there, you turn on the bridge, you just got to take your time. Then rescuing the Marines, you just make the Marines do most of the work while you just, park the Warthog and then just hide so they're able to kill all the grunts and elites and everything. This mission, I think it's a really good mission in terms of, like, aesthetic and everything about it. But in Lasso, it just really isn't difficult when you can stand on that rock and just be safe. And rescuing the Marines, it's kind of difficult, but not really. So this mission, to a surprise, is the second easiest mission in Lasso Solo. So in the number 8 spot, it's the introductory mission, the Pillar of Autumn. The first mission that you do in Halo, starting off your journey for greatness. And it's your first sense when you play Lasso of like how difficult things are going to be. You learn about grunt explosions. You kind of learn about how tough elites are. You have to learn how to like fight in close quarter spaces. And that's kind of how this mission works in your favor, because the grunts blow up so like explosively that they're able to take out so many enemies with them. So in this tight space map, it's a blessing and a curse, because yes, when you shoot a grunt and blow them up, you're more likely to kill all the enemies in the area, but you're also prone to dying yourself, which isn't too bad, because at least you have a way to consistently kill the grunts and the elites. Ammo doesn't become a problem on this mission as much as other missions, but you still can have trouble, keeping ammo. The hardest part on this mission was the battle on the stairs. There's a couple elites on the upper level, and it's just kind of hard to, fight them, because it's more of an open area, and the grunts don't just, stand next to them. But, in all honesty, once you get past that part, the rest of the mission kind of goes smoothly. Again, you just blow up grunts, and they take out all the elites and everything. And if there's a lot of grenades in the area, it's even better. You also get some overshields in this mission that really help out. And overall, number 8 is where I put this mission, because I feel like it's not that difficult. Number 7, I have the Silent Cartographer. It is mission number 4 in the game, and it's in position 4th easiest. This mission is like an open exploration mission that allows you to take the approach any way you really want to until you have to go in those tight corridors. And I didn't think it was too difficult. I kind of put myself in a bad situation on this mission, if you remember. I didn't kill all the enemies going down, so on the way back up, they were there, and that made things kind of annoying. But other than that, sneaking around enemies and, the little fights I did, it wasn't too bad. I do put this a little bit more difficult because you have to fight hunters, and I mean, there's an easy way to take out hunters, you just gotta shoot them in the back, but in those tight spaces, it's kind of hard to do that. And also, there is a sword elite, which you can sneak up on him, and then the final elite battle with all the invisible elites, that's kind of annoying too. You do get a rocket launcher, but it's really not that helpful because of how big the explosions are. Overall, this mission isn't too difficult in terms of Lasso difficulty. I just feel like the openness to it makes it a lot more manageable than some of the other missions that are more linear. Because this one, again, you don't even have to fight that beginning beach area. You can just head straight for where you need to go, and you just gotta see the elite lock the door, you gotta unlock the door, you gotta head down, and then you gotta come back up. And that's pretty much all you gotta do. So, not too difficult, but enough that it earned its spot at number 7. So at number 6, I put the last mission in the game, the Maw. And I thought at first when I went into this mission, that last drive where you have to drive all the way to the end, I thought that was going to be the reason this mission was so difficult. Because I just pictured getting to a part, getting stuck, and not having enough time and having to restart the whole level. We'll get to that in a moment. When you start out on this mission, you start with one weapon, the assault rifle. Because that skull where we're not allowed to use alien weapons is on, you actually don't start with the plasma rifle. You start with your assault rifle, and then nothing else. Which is kind of difficult when you have to fight Flood. Eventually, you will get a shotgun, and you will get more weapons later on. So the beginning's just a little bit difficult. Then when you have to blow up those reactors, you get plenty of weapons and plenty of ammo in the armory, and there are plenty of health packs too. So that part was mildly annoying just because, like, the Flood were annoying and the Sentinels are annoying, and actually blowing up the vents was rather annoying. But I'd rather deal with that than a lot of the other stuff I dealt with. And then you get to the drive, and it's actually a very forgiving drive, first off. Like, you get plenty of time to get all the way to the end. But the second thing is, you don't actually get checkpoints. You get a checkpoint at the top of the elevator before you do the drive. That way, if you run out of time or you mess up, you start there. You don't have to start all the way at the beginning, which was great. But I still managed to mess up the drive a few times. But like I said, you make it there, you have plenty of time. And the final run where you have to run on foot, I don't even think I got shot a little bit. So overall, this mission, it seems like it's going to be very difficult, but it turned out to be mildly difficult, and that's why it's sitting at number 6. So at the number 5 spot, halfway through the list, I put the mission Keys, which is mission number 9. And this mission is the start of, like, missions that are annoying in more areas than just one. Because this mission, it puts you in a very bad spot. You start off on the Covenant ship, and you have to go, and then you fall down onto the ground. It's the Truth and Reconciliation, like, area, but only it's different, of course. So there's Flood and Covenant battling the whole way through this mission, which can be nice to sneak by, but also the Flood are just relentless. And one of the bigger problems you run into this mission is ammo. Ammo becomes a very serious problem, and for me personally, I ran out of ammo in my shotgun way too early. I took a sniper rifle when I shouldn't have. I played very hastily and not careful, and I got myself stuck a couple times. Now, once you get back on the ship, it becomes more problematic because it's just a ton of Flood, and they take so much damage, and they have so many human weapons. And eventually, you get to a point where you're in a hallway right before you get to Keys, and you just fight waves of them. They just keep coming, and that was so annoying, so difficult. And eventually, I did get past it, and then getting back to the Banshee wasn't too bad. There were some Covenant enemies on this mission that were annoying. There were some elites and whatnot, but overall, it's just the Flood and how annoying they are in this game and LASO. You wouldn't know that by 343 Guilty Spark, but you know that by a couple other missions. This was one of them. And, wow, did the ammo situation suck on this mission. So number 4 on my rankings is Assault on the Control Room. It's mission number 5 in the game. What makes this mission so bad is just how long it is. See, if this mission was half as long as it is in the game, it would probably be on a lower spot. However, because this mission is just so long, it just makes it really difficult. Now, you do get a Scorpion tank, and you do get some access to some good weapons and some power-ups like the cloaking. But I kind of messed that up, so that's my fault with the cloaking. But I don't think it would have mattered. Just because of how long this mission was, there were just too many spots where I ended up getting stuck. And the tank, although it is pretty strong and it keeps you safe, it's only for a small section of vehicle combat. The turret's useless in it, and the main cannon isn't as powerful as you would think it is. Yes, it's nice to blow up things, and yes, it's nice to not have to worry about dying every 5 seconds, but at the same time, it wasn't like, just, okay, I'm in the tank, I'm unkillable. Then, towards the end, if I didn't get that Banshee off of that little bridge, I don't know if I would have actually beat this mission. Because going all the way to the end, there were those hunters that came out, I'd have to get past them. Then I would have to scale that pyramid structure that had so many enemies on it. And finally go into the thing and then finish the mission. I don't think that would have been possible without stealing that Banshee. I think I was almost out of ammo at that point also. I will say it was pretty cool seeing that this mission can have 2 different versions of that rock bridge. But other than that, it was just a long, difficult, grueling mission. And I did have fun going back through it on easy. I mean, obviously, it's just a cakewalk. But playing through it on Lasso, not so much. Did not enjoy it. In the number 3 spot, the bronze medal, it's the library, mission number 7. And this mission just has all the things that makes it miserable. It has the flood. It's a long mission. It's a very repetitive mission. There's rocket flood enemies. It's just... This mission, there's a reason why a lot of people say this is the worst mission in this game. It slows the pace of the game. It's very repetitive. There's not a whole lot going on. And even playing through it on easy, it was just like a drag to get through it. There's just nothing special about this mission. You go up an elevator. You go through the same passage that you went through on the floor below. You get to another elevator. On Lasso, this was extremely difficult because there was just so many flood. And it got to a point where, you know, you just keep fighting these flood over and over and over again. You run out of ammo, and it's so repetitive. And then you get to rocket flood that just are annoying. Those little exploder guys are annoying. It just was not fun at all, and just was a very difficult mission. As you can see, it's number 3, though, because there were 2 other missions that I felt were a lot more challenging in a different aspect than this one. This one was just a really long mission with endless hordes of flood. So, that was difficult, but it was manageable. The library, it needs to be high on everybody's list of missions they don't like on Halo Combat Evolved, and it's even less fun in Lasso. I thought I actually was able to skip to the end, because I thought I found out something clever with the grenade jump over into the middle section, but that didn't do anything. That was, you can get there just by walking around. So, I thought, hey, I can skip this. Nope, that was wasted. That was nothing. But I did end up beating this mission, and I was so happy I did because, oh, it was miserable. And in the number 2 spot, the silver medal, the Truth and Reconciliation. It's the 3rd mission of the game, and it's your real first look into what to expect in Lasso. Because, oh my goodness, this mission made me lose my mind. It is my highest death mission by a little bit, I'll say. I can't remember the exact number, but I died 222 times on this mission, and most of them were in that section with the 4 super elites. Well, I say 4, but there's like 8 of them. I don't know how many there are. There's a lot. So you start out this mission with the assault rifle and a sniper rifle, which is really cool because it's like, okay, I finally got a sniper rifle. However, in Lasso, you can only shoot it twice before you have to reload, so you go through the ammo quick. And that's what the mission wants. It wants you to run out of ammo before you get onto the ship. The fight up to the ship was miserable enough, but when you actually get to the ship part before you board it, you have to fight waves and waves of enemies. Now, what was kind of nice is figuring out, oh, if I just hang out by the start of that area, I can just kill all these enemies, they'll come to me, I can blow up grunts. So, my second time through that part, it was a lot easier. However, when you go up on the ship, you are ambushed by several gold sword elites, and they do not die by 2 sniper shots. It's 3 headshots will put them down. However, you have to reload after 2. So, do the math. You shoot them twice, they close the gap, they sword you. And it's not like they're the only enemies. There's other enemies too. Grunts, jackals, and they're just there to whittle down your health while the sword elites ambush you and attack you. Now, there is an active camo. You are supposed to save that active camo for the next part. However, sometimes you gotta pick that up so you can just survive and hopefully kill all the elites. And they feel like they're endless. There's like at least 8 of them. And you have no sniper ammo at that point unless you were very conservative. And you just have, like, to rely on grenades, grunts, explosions. You have to, like, hide in the little hallway and just hope you can kill them all. Then after that, it's not even over. You still have a good chunk of the mission because, of course, they want you to explore this map because it's your first look in one of these alien ships. So, there's a lot more to it. You go to a hangar area. In the one playthrough thing of the guide does a grenade jump, which I was unable to replicate because there was no way I was going to pull that off. So I wasn't able to despawn the enemies. I had to fight my way up through the hangar. I had to fight my way to Captain Keyes, which is a whole other thing. Once you get Keyes, you have to keep him alive. If he dies, the mission fails. Now, luckily, you go back to the same checkpoint. You don't have to go back to the beginning, or else this mission would have been completely impossible. But keeping Keyes alive enough to get him down to where he needed to be, so difficult. And this mission was kind of longer, but not really that long. It was just those frustrating things with that room with all those sword elites and keeping Keyes alive. But wow. What could possibly top this mission, you say? Well, you're about to find out. So at number 1, getting the gold medal for the most difficult Halo LASO solo mission in the entire game is mission number 8, 2 Betrayals. Oh my goodness, this mission is terrible for LASO. It is everything that's bad about LASO and what makes it difficult. Starting off, this is the other mission where you're supposed to start with a human weapon and a Covenant weapon. You start with a shotgun and a plasma pistol. Right out of the gate, you're getting attacked by 4 Sentinels. Now, these Sentinels do so much damage so quickly. However, you don't have that plasma pistol. You have a shotgun. You don't have great range. You can't melee them. So, they killed me a few times. You do spawn with a couple plasma grenades, and luckily the blast radius is increased so you can blow them Sentinels up. But then it's not over. The very next part, more Sentinels, Covenant. You still only have a shotgun. So you have to hope they fight each other and just kind of sneak past. And after doing that, guess what? Another door, this time just Covenant, and all you have is a shotgun and maybe some grenades if you saved them. Now, that part's super difficult. And then finally, after you complete that, you have to scale down that pyramid and get to that Banshee, with enemies all the way down. Luckily, you're able to get a pistol, sniper, or shotgun. You have to pick 2, and then you have to scale down the pyramid. I chose shotgun pistol because the sniper rifle you don't get a ton of ammo for. Eventually, you get down to the base of the pyramid. You can kind of sneak down that. And you get a rocket launcher that you have to use because there's a Wraith puppy guarding the Banshee. So, just right out of the get-go, the amount of things you have to do to even get to that Banshee, to even really get the mission going, is so difficult and just such a pain. And the mission is probably the longest one in the game, right next to Assault on the Control Room. Because guess what? It's Assault on the Control Room backwards. But it gets worse, okay? You are fighting both the Covenant and the Flood. Now, the Flood are so annoying on this mission because there's a lot of rocket flood. But also, you don't have the ammo. Also, you just don't have all the ammo you need to fight. And you're not just fighting Flood, you're fighting Covenant and Flood. Now, the shotgun is effective against the Flood pretty well. And the pistol's okay against the Covenant when there's grunts around. But the shotgun into the elites, you have to get up close and they beat you. Now, there's also a part where I got stuck on because I messed up, and it's at the 2 bridges. You can't do the bridge skip that you did previously. Doing it and trying to skip a bunch of enemies will actually put the game in a state where you can't continue until you go back and activate that checkpoint. And that happened to me. I had to restart. Now, On my way back through, you know, I did it right and everything like that. You're still not even halfway done with the mission. You got to get another Banshee and fly it up to those things and destroy it. But to get to the Banshees, you have to go through all these vehicles that are shooting at you. And eventually, you do that. You're not even done. You still have to go to the beginning part of the mission. And you have to go through all that, fighting Flood. And then you get there, and it's just a bunch of Flood and Covenant again. But that time, I was actually out of ammo. I had no ammo. The guide said to use the infinite ammo glitch. I didn't know how to do that correctly. I wasn't about to try to figure that out, because you shouldn't need to do that to beat a mission. But then, oh my goodness, you have to get to the Banshee that's protected by 2 Wraiths, and you have nothing. Nothing to destroy those Wraiths with, except for rockets that you have to hope you hit them. But each rocket shot takes 2, the Wraiths take 2, so you really can't miss a single rocket shot. Or you can do what I did, and drive a Ghost down there after blowing up 1, and hope to God you can get in the Banshee and take it up and destroy the final pillar. But, oh my goodness, this mission was long, it had Covenant, it had Flood, it had vehicles, just no ammo, just the epitome. The worst lasso mission, the hardest lasso mission by far. And I can't believe I actually beat it with less deaths than the Truth and Reconciliation. I don't know how. Maybe it's because it was more open and that Elite Room did kill me a bunch of times. I don't know. I'm just glad I beat it, because after this, Keys and the Maw, they felt like just going downhill because of how difficult this mission was. But anyway, yeah, I could go on and on and on about this mission, but by far, the hardest mission in Halo Lasso Solo. So here it is, my final list. I just showing it at the end here, from number 1 to number 10. Yeah, I think this is a fair ranking for all these missions, and like I said, feel free to try Halo Lasso Solo yourself and make your own rankings. And because, I mean, I'd be curious to see what other people think, but this is what I believe. I mean, maybe Keys and the Maw could be switched around. Maybe if I did it again, I would switch some of them around, but I think 2 Betrayals and the Truth and Reconciliation are going to stay 1 and 2, and the Library would probably stay 3. But tell me what you think. Leave a comment if you want. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.